Natasha now?
No, I don't still, but it might take a few seconds to come through.
Can you hear us, Chris?
Please do let us know when you can hear anything. Oh yes, I am hearing something now.
Fantastic. Okay. I'm not quite sure what I changed, but
I can hear me. Just you say some more things, Matthew.
Okay, I can. We'll see whether we can hear me or not. Let's see that.
Excellent. Can you hear both Natasha and Matthew?
Okay, we have everything now. Everything's working.
Excellent.
And you can hear me as well? Okay, brilliant. Fantastic, Andy. That's wonderful. If you can hear me as well as Natasha.
Matthew is extremely quiet.
Oh, okay.
If you could put your volume up somehow.
All right.
I can hear you a bit now.
Okay. Let's have a look. Yeah. Let's see, is this a little bit better? Let's hope it is.
Let's hope so, yes.
Well, let me know if you can't hear me anyway. It's
Yes, let us know whether you can hear Matthew okay.
And then hopefully it'll all turn out right. I'll just have a quick look at my sound settings because, but really, I've got a good microphone here, so and it's never caused any problems at all. Of course, famous last words, but we'll just have a little look to see whether I can turn out the microphone a little bit more, and then hopefully.
A bit better, still very quiet from Mark Holsby and Chris. I thought I can hear both of us fine.
Okay, I'll just move my microphone volume up. Yeah, just let me know whether that improves or not. So, yeah, should all be working. It's a very good microphone, this. So normally it just picks me up, no problem. The only thing is I did lend it to my brother, and he was using it for something else. So
he might have flicked a switch or something, mightn't he?
He might have flicked a switch. You never know. Volume is fine. Okay, louder now. Fair enough. Okay.
Great, marvelous. Thank you.
Right, let's get on to some chess then, shall we?
Yay.
Okay, so we've got. We'll have a look first of all at the top 6 games of Lincolnshire against Northumberland. So this is James Morby against Matthew Turner. Don't be fooled by the ratings there. Obviously, that just depends on how much you play on Chess24. Matthew Turner Black is a Grandmaster. James Morby is a FIDE Master.
So Matthew Turner, Grandmaster Matthew Turner, I've played alongside him in a team for a number of years. He plays in the Barbican 4NCL team. And he's a really strong player and also a really talented player. He doesn't know huge amounts of opening theory, I would say, but he's very good at kind of generating an initiative from nowhere. He can play all sorts of not completely sound moves, but still end up winning the game. So he's a dangerous player.
Indeed, and we have here a London system from James Morby. So Black's played fairly sensibly, actually, getting the bishop outside the pawn chain and playing e6. Black's got to be a little bit careful though, because in principle it is nice to get a bishop outside the pawn chain, not to have it on c8 blocked in by a pawn on e6, but to have it out on g4. But that does weaken the b7 square, and also the a4 e8 diagonal. And James is playing queen b3, attacking queen b7, and knight e5 can be a little bit of an awkward one actually, attacking the bishop on g4, and also maybe getting ready to put some pressure with bishop b5. So I'm not 100% sure about this. It might be okay, but it is a little bit risky always bringing the bishop
risky
outside
for
the
black
pawn chain
here.
like that. A little bit risky for black like that.
We should say also that white, James Morby, is also a really, really strong player and a junior player, extremely talented. So it'll be very interesting to see how this game goes. And the London system is pretty trendy. I expect he's pretty up to date with what the theory is.
Indeed. So let's have a look now. I'll just have a quick look back to who everyone is in actual fact. We've got C. Dorrington against Peshka the Great.
So Chris Dorrington is also a Barbican player. And I think his for a job, he is a farmer, I think. So that's a little bit, I don't know many farmer chess players, but he's a very, very strong chess player and used to captain the Barbican team for a while.
I'll just go through the opening moves because this has gone crazy in actual fact. He Chen Yan, Peshka the Great, is, if I'm not mistaken, he's a Dutch player. Actually looking at the flag, that's correct. And he's a superb blitz and bullet player. I think that he...
Is he living? He's living in England for a bit, is he? I think he might be at school in England. I guess, hence playing in the county match.
Could be. But let's have a look. Knight c3, knight c6. It's an offbeat Sicilian here. Knight d4, bishop c4, a6, a4. Now things got very interesting. Knight f6, e5 from white, and d5, the counterattack against the bishop on c4. The bishop goes back to a2. Bishop g4 gets thrown in. Very sharp. This might all be theory, but I certainly don't know it. Bishop f5 here. So the idea is that if e takes f6, then we've got knight takes c2 check. Actually, bishop takes c2 would be even stronger. Just picking up the queen.
Wow, this has got exciting quickly.
So, yeah, d3, knight d7, bishop takes, knight e5. White picks up a pawn. And white is thinking. So a very, very sharp
Black
game.
Black has
this
played
one.
very quickly, so I would think it must be theory because it's very creative play by Black, isn't it?
Yeah, white's played very quickly as well, and Black's just keeping on going here. They're playing this like a blitz game. They've got a whole hour for this game. So
is it 1 hour? What's the time control? Is it 1 hour sudden death, or how is it?
I don't actually know, I'm afraid.
If
you want to look
starting
up,
off with an hour. I guess the chat might know whether they get any extra time after a certain amount of moves.
It's an hour for an online game is very, 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 very long. F4, here we are. That's really very, very, very sharp. This, but needed to play F3, F4 to get the bishop on E4 free. Okay, let's have a little look through the other ones. We've got Baldy 1971 against DJW 60. Jason Dilley against David Walker.
Yes.
Who I played a very long time ago. Let's have a look at Baldy 1971. I
wonder if he is bald.
David Walker, he is actually bald, yes.
Oh, but Baldy 71 is Walker's opponent.
Is that correct?
I think so, because DJW.
Oh, you're correct. You're correct. DJW indeed. So,
so Jason Dilley. Yes, increments, 10 seconds, says the crowd. 15 seconds increments to someone else in the crowd.
Okay.
A bit of an increment. Well, we can confirm that anyway when they play some moves.
So this is an interesting little one. Let's have a look how that went. It was a C4 opening. And then white played e3, bishop b4, queen takes, takes. And you might expect queen takes e3, but they do also play b takes e3, actually aiming to play e3 to e4, get some sort of Botvinnik system, Roxybine sort of grip on the centre. So black played e4, knight g5, queen e7, defending the pawn on e4, f3 to get rid of that, takes, takes, d6.
12.5 seconds increment.
Castles.
That's a joke.
Bishop e2, d6, castles, bishop g4, d3 and a6. And we've got this very interesting position where white's got the two bishops, and we'll also have the possibility to play e3 to e4 to clamp down on the centre a little bit. White's going to have bishop g5, half open f-file, and black's looking to play, well, I mean, there's two possible breaks. I mean, d5 would be a possible break, and black's actually looking to play b5 here. Going to be quite interesting. 15 seconds, okay. Going to be quite interesting, this one. I mean, white's going to play e3 to e4. I think black might have to play h6 here, maybe, because I think that b5. If black played b5 here, then bishop g5 would be very unpleasant, I think. So h6, but then well, I don't know. Maybe we can go. I don't know. Maybe we even play just a4 to stop b5. In principle, I quite like white here, but well, we'll have a look how that goes. Let's have a look. We've got Nigel Birstwhistle, the Boston Strangler, against
Let's
Tim
have a look at
Peter
that
Wall.
against Tim Wall.
Let's have a look. Oh, I don't actually have that one here, it seems. I've got. I thought I had it just one moment ago, and then it just disappeared. I've got Straight Larson against Housing Crisis, which is Murray Smith against Graham Oswald. I don't know either of these players, but this is quite an interesting opening. A Gambit, in actual fact. So Gambit lovers out there will be keeping an eye on this. e4, c6, Caro-Kann. d4, d5. f3, sharp, unusual variation. e6, knight c3, bishop b4. This is quite a normal way of playing for black. But here white takes the decision to play a3. Takes, takes, and d takes e4. And of course, f takes e4. Oops. F takes e4. Good lord.
That's fine.
F takes
rather
e4.
powerful queen
h4 check. Indeed.
And
so
you can't go g3 because of queen takes e4 and then taking the rook on e1.
Indeed. So white played queen e2. E takes f3. Knight f6. And then queen e3. A bit of a slow move maybe, but it gets the queen out of the way, allows the bishop to develop. Knight bd7 and castles. And
do you think white has enough for the pawn here?
Ooh, practical chances. White's got quite a bit actually. Two bishops, weak dark squares. Counterplay for black, not completely obvious. Yeah, no, pretty interesting actually. I think that's going to be an interesting one there. And then I'm just seeing our last one is Brainache 55 against Mikhail Fiordorovich, who sounded very exciting, but is in fact Andrew Lawson, so just an English player. Maybe he took his
still exciting.
Took his name maybe to instill fear into the opponents by thinking it was a strong Russian Grandmaster. Interesting line of the Caro-Kann here, d4, d5. I actually played this with white a couple of times. Bishop f5, h4, h5, and bishop d3. So black gets to exchange off the light squared bishop, but at the same time, well, white's created some weaknesses on the dark squares here, so a bit for everyone to play for. e6, knight f3. Black plays now a standard maneuver, queen a5 check, knight d2, queen a6, just to try and swap off the queens. Obviously, if black can swap off the queens, black's going to be very, very happy. Black's got a little bit less space. So white plays c4, knight e7, b3, just to reinforce that pawn. Knight f5, a4. just just creeping forward on white, maybe looking to play a5 just to make that queen on a6 not so well placed. Knight d7 and castles. I played this a number of times in sимles actually. To be honest, I've always found it a bit tricky to play this with white. At some stage you sort of get a bit stuck, and it's a bit difficult to know precisely what you're going to do. I think
you've thrown your pawns quite far forwards, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, I think one plan for white is to play queen c3, and then to play for b4 to b5. That's one idea. But in general, I do think that black is absolutely fine here. But it is a theoretical line, so yeah, I mean, all to play for there. Let's have a look at the... I'm just going to have a quick look and see whether we can see the major open, because we want to see... we want to see Keith, don't we? And I'm just going to try and do it here, and we're going to see how that goes. It's a little bit awkward fiddling with all these windows, but let's have a look. What have I found here?
Ah, that's Tim Wall. That's Tim Wall's game against the Boston Strangler.
Okay, well, that wasn't quite what I was expecting, to be honest. But,
we could have a look while we're here.
We can have a look whilst we're here. Oh, so interesting opening. Knight f3, d5, c4, d4, b4. Quite a sharp line of the Reti in actual fact.
Oh, I've played this one many a time.
You have indeed. Yes. Although you normally played 3e3, didn't you? Knight c6 and then b4. That was what you tended to do.
I've done both.
Now,
I've done all sorts.
There's quite a few moves for black. G5 was played by Morozevich, quite crazy. F6 is the main line, very sharp. Bishop G4 is a move that was played by Michael Adams, actually, and therefore is pretty sensible. It's like a Trompowsky, but with black, of course. So Queen B3, and then A5. A5, is that the move they play? I think that's probably correct, although I'm slightly wondering even about b takes a5, actually. I was kind of wondering, but white's played b5 there.
Because the pawn on b7's on freeze.
Yeah, there's all sorts of ideas. I can't remember the theory very well, to be honest, but there are all sorts of ideas. b5 is kind of isolating the d4 pawn a bit. Because
because you can't go knight. If you go knight d7 to c5, can you then go knight d4 in the meantime?
You can take on d4 there. I think black plays e6 or something in these positions normally, and maybe puts the bishop on c5. Yeah, it's a sort of line with black that I'd prefer to know properly before I start, because it's very easy just to end up losing one of the pawns. But okay, that's very interesting. Now I'm going to make another attempt to... I'm wondering whether I'm going to make another attempt to find the major open here, because that would actually be rather nice if we could do that. Because I'm desperately keen to see Keith, really. All right, let's see whether this actually works or not. I've got one of these direct links where you should be able to see all 6 games, but
okay.
I don't know.
So Keith Arkle is fresh from publishing his latest book, which is called Arkle's Endings. And people who have followed Keith Arkle's games will know that he loves just getting the game into an endgame, preferably a rook and pawn endgame. And he could play for hours and hours and hours like this. Well, in this game, I wonder how long you could get the game to go. If you get 15 seconds extra move, but once you get into this rook and pawn endgame, you can play a lot of moves. So I guess the game could still go for hours. So expect him, well, in his usual style, he will try and swap off these queens at some point.
Indeed. And, well, let's have a look at how the game went. It's pretty solid. He's playing against James Adair, who is still an IM. I think he's got all the GM norms, but he just needs the rating, I think, 2500 rating.
Yeah, so James is a very, very strong player, and he will know Keith's style as well.
Yeah, it's a very dangerous attacking player.
Yeah,
that's right. So knight e4. This is quite a common line against this line of the Grunfeld. kind of surprised James is playing this really, because it's very solid. So it's kind of playing into Keith's territory, you'd have thought. But castles, knight e5, knight takes c3, b takes c3, and now knight c6. So that after knight c6, b takes c6, we've got a symmetrical position.
And all the knights have come off.
Indeed, but white has an extra tempo. So if there's any advantage, you would expect it to be white's. So Keith plays bishop a3, copied as well, and then plays rook b1. And now James has played queen a5, attacking the bishop on a3 and the pawn on c3. So, well, there's a few interesting little things that can happen here. So queen stacking the bishop on a3 and pawn on c3. The pawn on e7 is hanging, but then black could play rook e8. And of course the bishop on a6 and rook on e8 will combine against the pawn on e2. So Keith played bishop b4, tempting James to take on a2. That would probably be quite risky, maybe even just rook a1 or something like that. Probably quite risky with a queen and also the bishop hanging there. So James has just played queen c7. And now we've got rook e1 from Keith. What is this position? It's pretty even. I think the one thing about these types of positions is that if you if there's complicated positions, then if you do something wrong, there's always chances to get back, through the complications and all this. And these sort of positions, if you start getting it a little bit wrong, then you can end up with a bad position and also have no counterplay at all. So got to be a little bit careful with black here. I mean, white's threatening e2 to e4. That's presumably what the aim is of rook e1. Well, because white's a tempo ahead, he's able to do that before black, because of course e5 will just allow bishop takes f8. Black could play the move f7 to f5 to stop e4. Normally you'd say that that's a bit of a weakness, weakening the e5 square, but the point is that there's no knights anymore on the board, so it's not really going to do that much pain. And after f5 you can probably just you'll be aiming to maybe to go rook e8 and e5 or something like that. I mean, after f5 white could play f3 to play e4, or could just play f4 and decide to block everything, but in that case I think we'd be heading for equality. Yeah, Keith has a big edge. I'm not sure, really. I'm not sure. Could be.
I think he'll be very comfortable with the position.
He'll definitely be very comfortable with the position. I'm not sure whether it's an objective edge, but I could easily be wrong. I think, I don't know, if black plays f5, plays the bishop to c4, and then plays something like rook b8, starts challenging like that. I don't know. I'm not sure how much that is, Mark, but
look, he's used less than 5 minutes.
They're all playing very fast, actually, I have to say. It must be quite difficult playing this sort of longer time control on online. I have to say, I'm always rushing all the time. So let's have a little look. What else there is? Devon versus Yorkshire.
Maybe
William Claridge Hansen.
Yes,
now
against
I've got to try and work out here.
How to do it?
Well, I'm not quite sure. Am I missing? I keep on thinking that I should have some more tabs along here.
Yeah, I think you have to close the other tabs, right? Because you can only have, or in mine, I can only get 5 open at once. So if I close one of the other tabs, then I can get some new tabs.
Okay. Well, okay. I'll close. Game aborted.
Oh.
I'm not quite sure about that. Oh yeah, that's right. I seem to only have 5 maximum. Okay.
Yeah,
so
that's what I get. Yeah, I know some people get more than that. But yeah, I've only ever managed 5.
Oh my goodness! But I've just spotted this one. Let's have a look at Demon Dom against Dr. Death.
Okay. Do we know which board that is? Let me have a look.
Let me have a look.
Lincolnshire or something?
That's Dominic Mackle against Mate Thayer. I don't know who Mate Thayer is. Dominic Mackle.
I don't either, but Dominic Mackle I know. I've known him for years. He used to play in some of these London blitzers in the 1990s.
Oh, Dutch haters there are going to be enjoying this. D4 F5, Knight F3 G6, very risky always to play g6 before white plays c4, because these h4 moves they get very accelerated. h5,
and
knight
Dominic's
takes
gone
e5,
for it.
e4, standard breaks, f takes e4, rook takes h5. Black didn't dare take on h5, of course, played e takes f3, queen f3, and bishop g7.
David Howell did something like this against me at King's Head one year and played a really nice game.
It is quite a typical way of taking on the Dutch like this, but well, we'll have a look to see what black is going to do, what white is going to do next. Obviously, that rook on h5 is hanging. It would open up the king if you just took it, but it is a rook after all. And you're kind of missing. It's a bit of a shame to have lost that knight on f3, because obviously that's quite a big attacking piece. I'm getting carried away with all sorts of things here. I mean, moves like bishop c4 are quite interesting. The idea being that if you played e6, to block queen f7, then you could play the bishop out to g5 and probably just trap the queen there. So,
oh gosh! That looks so dangerous.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many moves can I play in analysis.
But tell you
here?
what, black's played really fast on this one as well.
Yeah,
it must be theory.
Yeah, white's thinking now, so maybe it is theory, but yeah, pretty scary theory, I have to say. Bishop c4 was the move I wanted to play, but oh, that's right there. I'm guessing moves. That's the thing. I can guess one move, but I can't show any analysis there. Okay, so let's.
I wonder if the players can see the stream when they're playing. I suppose it would be very off-putting.
It would be very off-putting indeed, and I'm not making that much sense at the moment. So I think they'll be better relying on their own efforts.
Better off not, yeah.
Oh, good lord! Actually, wait a minute.
Have you seen something?
That can't be possible, can it?
What's that? Bishop c4?
No, rook takes h7 in this position. Sorry, I want to.
The bishop's not there yet.
No, how can I take my guess back? I want to take my guess back.
Can you not press that back arrow?
Well, the problem is if I press my back arrow, it goes back to g7.
Oh,
there we are. But does rook h7 work?
Take it.
Take it, and then I go bishop d3, attacking bishop g6.
Oh, that looks scary. And then what?
He goes rook h1 check. I go king e2. I guess he goes bishop f6. Maybe he's getting away with it. Oh, I don't know. Oh, this could be an absolute brilliancy.
Look at this. The king side's everything's out. And
I don't know. I think
everything's at home.
I think rook h7 probably doesn't work. Bishop d3, rook h1, and bishop f6. But I can imagine you might spend a little bit of time on it because it's very, very tempting. Actually, it's not at all easy, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we'll see what brilliant stuff they come up with.
Yeah.
I'm just going to switch off Tim Peter Wall, because then we can maybe get another game that we haven't seen. Ferrari Fan against Paul Anelli.
Oh, who is Ferrari Fan? Because I've definitely played against Ferrari Fan before without knowing who it is.
Robert Starley.
Oh,
of Yorkshire.
He's a Cambridge University person, I think.
Okay. Against Paul O'Neill.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got a Marshall. So looking like quite a dangerous Marshall, actually. Apparently, in the match against Croatia recently in the Olympiads, Michael Adams lost to Ivan Saric on the black side of a Marshall, which is, I think, incredibly unusual. I can't remember the last time that Michael lost a game. But let's have a look how it all went. We'll take it from the Marshall tabia position, c6. White played d3, bishop d6, rook e2. Loads of subtleties in there, whether you play the rook back to e4, to e2, to e1. Black played quite solidly here with bishop f5. The idea is to just it's a little bit annoying. The knight can't come to d2 because the bishop takes d3. So white's development is a little bit more awkward. White played bishop e3, queen h4, g3, and queen h5. And actually already you see that white's position is a little bit uncomfortable here. The light squares on the king's side are weak, and bishop g4 is threatened. White played rook d2. The only problem now is that the knight on b1 is not getting developed. So this looks slightly awkward. Bishop g4, rook e8, very typical Marshall moves. Knight a3, f5, knight c2. And now black played f4. You could have considered g5 even, actually, I think. But f4 also looks very, very strong. Actually, you'd say...
What would you do? Bishop out to d4, that kind of direction?
Well, f takes g3 is coming. There's a pin on the pawn on f2. So actually, I think white's
this
lost.
Looks really scary then.
I think white's lost already, actually. Bishop takes f4. We're just going to play rook takes f4.
Okay,
GF,
so this will be 1-0 maybe for... so that would be for Devon.
Yeah. This is a hell of a start. This one. Yeah, this is really very unpleasant for black. Okay, let's. I'll close that window and we'll just have a little look. What else we've got? Chris Dorrington. Let's have a look. Chris Dorrington against Peshka, because that started very excitingly. We were at bishop e4 here. So bishop d7, f4. By the way, viewers, if you desperately want to see one type of game or one game, then do shout out.
Yes,
and
please do ask requests. We actually have. I think we have all the. We can get access to all the games, so all the 12 in each match.
We can do that. That's right.
I'm going to make some requests in a minute as well, because I know some of the players in the field.
So knight ec6, knight f3. Black's threat was to play knight b4. So knight f3 just makes sure that you can capture the knight on d4 and stop that threat. F5. So trying to force white to give up the bishop pair, which he does. Knight e5, g6 castles. Well, I have to say, bishop g7. In principle, white hasn't done too badly. It's very tempting to take off this bishop on c6, because this bishop potentially is quite a big piece along the a8 h1 diagonal. The only problem is that there's then pressure with rook b8, bishop g7 against the pawn on b2. It's actually very hard indeed to move that knight on c3 away. So I think that's why.
Tell you what, though, I would be really tempted to take it, though.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I would take it.
I think white likes that the block on the bishop on g7, so he's actually just reinforcing it and playing b3. I mean, that's the big advantage of leaving that knight on e5. It's unclear position. I mean, in principle, I think both sides have got chances. Who would I prefer? I don't know. I mean, I think as black, I'd be happy to have got a position like this, with plenty of counterplay. I mean, I'm a little bit worried. It depends a little bit how quick white can be, but something like bishop a8 and then queen c7 and g5. That sort of idea. So queen c7 and g5, just undermining the knight on e5. Your rook can come over b6 round to h6 or g6. Could go horribly wrong for white, but if black doesn't play it accurately, you could just, of course, end up consolidating your pawn. I think the key thing that white has to do is to try and get rid of that knight on d4. So I'd expect to see something like bishop b2, knight e2, to try and get rid of that knight quickly. But watch out for something like queen d5 at some stage, and a big battery on the 8h1 diagonal. Complicated position, this one. Let me just close that, and we're going to see who else we get. Ooh, some good names there. William of Orange against Oldie but Goodie. Who is that?
So,
that's
William of Orange.
William Claridge Hanson.
There. William Orange is Douglas Lieshauer. No. You can say that name better in Dutch. And Oldie but Goodie is Brown Walter. So that's Devon V Yorkshire, board 6.
Okay, so Douglas Fleischhauer is William of Orange, and then Walter Brown is oldie but goodie. Let's have a look. Oh, isn't white a piece up there? He is indeed, but black sacrificed, of course. Yeah, but black sacrificed on e3. Let me look at this. He played rook e8, queen f2, knight g4, and then took on e3.
Okay, so you're going to get 2 pawns for that piece.
Well, you're going to get a little bit more, looks like, because I think you're going to play rook takes e3.
Oh, and can you take on c3 after that?
You can take on c3 after that, probably.
Then you're 2 pawns for nothing.
Yeah, but we need to do a little bit of calculation on this, because if I go, well, just say I went queen f2, for example. Probably not the best move, but if I play bishop takes c3, bishop c3, rook c3, I can play knight d5 at the end, and I'm forking the knight to the rook on c3 and threatening knight f6 check. So it's that's a little bit risky, but I think queen f2.
But if you go queen f2, couldn't you go bishop d4 or something like that?
Well, yeah, I think I might be able to go knight cd5, just with all the same tricks. You know, I mean, what I could certainly do after queen f2 is to go rook takes c3, which would probably be decent compensation for the exchange. And I'm just wondering whether there's anything better than that. I mean, white could also play queen takes b7 and just say, well, I really don't believe your threats at all. Could be possible queen b7, because you know these tricks with knight d5, they will work in the end. In actual fact, just live analysis. Can I analyze if I do that? Oh good lord, no! I don't want friends to join me particularly, but I would just like to try that. Rook e3. There we are. We can do that. So I was just actually wondering whether I could play queen takes b7 in this position, because if bishop takes c3, I will take, and this move knight d5. Threatening knight takes c3 and knight f6. You'll probably be able to do something clever to win back that. You could play something like queen e6, I think. And if knight c3, you can play queen e3 and pick up the exchange back. But you know, you're not super happy there. Rook takes c3. Well, that's just the exchange. What else can we do here? In some ways, ideas like bishop d4, king h1 are quite tempting, because you're sort of looking, could I possibly play a knight g3 check and then get the queen across or something? But I don't know whether that sort of thing is possible. It doesn't. I can't see an idea at the moment. I'm not sure. Queen takes b7. It's very brazen, really. But I'm not quite sure what.
Has that been played?
Well, let's have a look back at the game. Little bit. Sorry, I'm struggling a little bit with the older interface here. Black's still thinking about taking on e3, actually. So, I guess Black could also take with a knight on e3, but I don't think that would be particularly what you're aiming for. It has to be rook e3 that was Black's idea. Okay, well, we're going to see what happens there. Close the game. Let's have a little look what's happening with... okay. So...
Has he done it? Rook h7. I bet he hasn't.
No. This is Keith's game. So we left it at rook e1. I suggested f5, but James played rook fb8, e4, e6, which is fair enough. Black's pretty solid there, and Black's probably looking to play bishop f8 just to swap off the bishops. So queen c2, James played bishop c4, Keith played bishop f1. So I suppose gaining a tempo there, just with the exchange. Got the queen on c2. But now a5, bishop c5, and bishop f8. And takes, king takes.
And we're pretty close to getting into our rook and pawn ending, aren't we? I suspect these two players have played each other a lot of times before. I would have thought.
Could be.
I don't know. Keith plays everything everything. Does James? I know James plays a lot of foreign CL. I don't know what else. Whether he plays. Well, he's obviously playing county matches here.
Yeah,
so you could imagine they've met over the board like that before.
Yeah, he has a job though, so I don't know exactly how much he plays. I think that this is. I would guess that this is heading for a draw quite quickly because it does look very, very even here. But
yes, and Keith sometimes does like quick draws and sometimes wants to play on for a long time. So it will depend on his mood, I would think.
Indeed, I mean, I think it's one of those things. He plays for his small edges, and if he doesn't get it, then a draw is not a bad result. I think that's the idea. But this is looking quite even now. Let's have a look at Demon Dom. Still thinking. Rook takes h7 was my last thing. Oh, let's just have a quick look at it, shall we?
Look at live, yeah. Is it on
live analysis? So Rook h7 here and Bishop d3 was what I really liked. Threatening Bishop takes g6, but Black plays Rook h1 check. I go to e2. So he can't take on c1 because I've got Bishop takes g6. I actually think that Black's more or less... Well, only move is probably overstating it, I suppose. I've got to be a little bit careful. I mean, a move like d5, you've got Bishop g6, King d7 and Queen d5 checkmate, which is quite funny. But I guess probably d6. Would that be possible? It looks very, very dangerous, but it might be possible. I was actually thinking of Bishop f6 in this position, which might be enough there. And it's just tough to... the point is Black's also got knight c6 coming with knight takes d4, which is a little bit annoying. So I'd expect that Black can work his way out of this somehow. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think Rook takes h7. But actually, White is spending a very long time here, down to 26 minutes already here. So,
good grief. Yes, but I do have something to tell you. We have a result already.
Oh, right.
Yes, board 3 of Devon against Yorkshire is a win for Gary Lane.
A win for Gary Lane. My goodness. Torquay United, let's have a look. Can we get... can we...
Yes, my daughter's just come into the room and she says she knows Gary Lane, which she does. Because
indeed,
when we went to Australia, we met up with him.
Ah, there we are. Torquay United, here we are. How did that go? So, Gary Lane, he always played the C3 Sicilian in the good old days, but
yes, that's true.
Here playing an open
Has he moved
Sicilian.
on? He's moved on from that.
Oh yes, this is a bit of a dodgy line for Black, I have to say. Or dodgy. It's got a decent theoretical reputation, but you have to be very careful because if you don't get it right.
This looks very familiar. This is like what I think Nadia had a game just like this in the online Olympiad today.
Okay, I mean I've had it against Alan Merry before at Bury St Edmunds actually, but
yes.
So c3, Bishop e7, Bishop d3, Queen b6. So Black has to stop White from casting kingside. And really, Black should be playing f5 at some stage. That's the move that he has to play, just to challenge. Either White has to move the knight on from e4, or take on f6 and give up the e5 pawn. Castles is really risky. H4, Bishop b7, Knight g5. Well, Gary hasn't learned subtlety living in Australia, I have to say, but this is certainly very worrying. C4 and Black resigned.
Oh gosh, an early resignation from Black.
Black resigned?
Is it that bad? I mean, it looks pretty bad. So what happens? What if you move the knight? So you go knight b4 for Black.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you get mated?
Well, I mean, at some stage you will probably, but not immediately. I mean, Queen e4, I'll take on d... I mean, let's go to live analysis. Sorry, just having a quick look at the chat there. Game abandoned. Oh, Peter, you've been disconnected. Peter's been disconnected. The black player's been disconnected, so they're going to challenge.
What a shame.
They're going to challenge again and play the same moves. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not actually a win yet.
I'm not sure whether it. I mean, I don't know whether disconnections count as wins. I played a shogi game today, and I was disconnected. And my opponent claimed the win after 60 seconds.
Oh no! I forgot to watch your shogi game.
It doesn't matter. The other guys were watching.
I'm so sorry.
But it was a rather sad story because I was somewhat better. We'd played about 20 moves. And I lost my internet, so I said okay.
I'm so sorry. I entirely meant to do that, and I completely forgot.
But it's fine. But I lost my internet, and so it was a little. I was probably a minute or so getting ready. But on that site, you've got two possibilities. You've got the 1 minute option where you say if the opponent's disconnected for 1 minute, he loses. But normally everyone's polite and they wait for 3 minutes. But he took
claimed it straight away.
He claimed it and left straight away. I came back. There was nothing left. There was nothing left at all.
I tell you what, though, there's some history in the match, isn't there? Because my opponent didn't show, and we got the default on that game. So probably he thought because it's a three.
But we got a default. We also got a default on the third game as well. So it was it's a match where we won 2 games by default and lost 1 by disconnection. So it was a bit of a crazy game.
We won the whole match without having needed to play a single good move.
Indeed.
See, shogi's a very fine game. You have to all learn shogi.
Indeed. But anyway, I'm not quite clear what the rules are there, but it looks like they're going to carry on playing there. But
that's good. That's good because it's an interesting position, isn't it?
It's a very interesting position. That's right. So no, that's good. That's very sporting. Let's have a look how that goes. We've got I really can't pronounce that name with the white player, but I think this is William Claridge Hansen. If I'm not.
Good. Okay. Yes.
So William Claridge Hansen is Will C, and Oscar Hackner is Vyaravnovishvit. Maybe another person who wanted to.
I bet there's an explanation for that name, but I don't know what it is.
Could be. I think it's players wanting to take on Russian names just to scare their opponents. Oh, if you disconnect, you lose the games, says John Rays. Oh no.
Okay. Oh, so it can't be reconstructed.
Good Lord.
What a shame.
Okay. Oh, that's very very unfortunate. Let's have any other results in other games. John Rays asks Natasha. Can you see that?
I don't see any yet. So the score is 1-0 for Devon. I'm just going to check the other match.
Where are you seeing that, by the way?
I'm just seeing it when I press refresh. If you press refresh on that page where you are now,
very good.
It should just come in.
Okay, and let's just have a look at Lincolnshire. Everyone's still going strong there.
Yeah.
So let's have a look. William Claridge Hansen as black, dangerous player.
Definitely.
And as you can see, already has a queen on g4 and a knight on f3. So if you were going to guess if this was a blitz game, I think you'd play f5 immediately here. I think that would be more or less it. Just to not download. Sorry, I'm pressing the wrong button there. Let's do live analysis. No, I'm going to have to upgrade, I think, aren't I? So what possibilities have we got? I mean, f5 feels very natural.
Looks tempting, doesn't it?
The point is, I think White's going to play b5 just to chase the bishop away from c6. And that means then that all this pressure on e4 is not really going to happen. And unless you've got something nice like f takes e4, which doesn't look remotely convincing, then that b5 might at least be a safe move for White. b6, is a possibility just to keep the bishop on the long diagonal at all costs. I'm guessing that White might just play something like, you could just play something like knight g1, and just try and claim that. Although is it
knight
always
d4?
the case? Knight d4 is possible. I was actually wondering. This is probably ridiculous. Knight h4. Now, knight h4, there's the very unpleasant bishop h3, which I think even traps the queen there. So,
look at that.
Yeah. So knight d4 would be.
But actually, what if you go? Even if you go knight d4, doesn't the same move trap the queen?
Yeah, but we're attacking the queen on c2, so.
Queen for queen. That's all
queen.
fair.
I mean, other moves. g5 is the move of a complete lunatic.
Maniac.
Maybe not so stupid, but I think, in general, normally these things don't actually work. I think some sort of quiet move, maybe. I mean, the one thing you've got to watch out for with black actually is that white can also play. For example, if I play b6, white could also play knight f4, and you're threatening bishop h3 again, so trapping the queen there. So you've got to be a little bit careful with black. I don't think it's any sort of advantage really, unless I'm missing something huge. It's just a balanced position, I think. All right. Well, we'll close that one, and then we'll see what goodies come up for us on the next game. Demon Dom is still thinking.
Yes, still thinking. That can't be right, is there? It's not a. What if you refresh?
I'm a bit nervous about refreshing because I've got all these tabs. I don't want to lose them. But
sure.
let's have a look at David Walker against Baldy 1971. We left it when black played a6, and there were kind of two possibilities there: either a4 to stop b5, or e4. And just say, okay, black, go ahead and play b5, and I'll do my stuff. Oops, good lord. That jumped a bit. So e4 was what white played. b5, white took, which sort of reasonable. Kind of getting interested in sacrifices. That's something with bishop g5 immediately. But I could take, and then knight h4, which I don't. Bishop g5 really does look like. The move you want to play. Oh, they're moving. Sorry, that's why it's jumping all the time. Bishop g5 is a move that you might want to play. But white played knight h4, queen e5. Yeah, that's quite a tricky little move actually. Let me just show you why with some live analysis. No friends, thank you. So after queen e5, if you go bishop f4 here, we could give a queen check, I think. And if king h1, then knight d4, I think, is working.
Oh, that's a nice move.
Yeah, that's really working.
Making use of the pin on the queen.
Okay, so white took on g4 here. Wait a minute. No, I can't. No, I guess not. Yeah, bishop g4. It doesn't feel right really. Knight g4.
With a threat, a subtle threat.
A subtle threat indeed. Yeah, knight f3 can be played. Bishop f4 as well. Yeah, I could go queen c5.
You could do the same trick, could you? Queen c5 and.
Well, it doesn't actually hit anything anymore, so it would just be an empty shot there. You could. I mean, you could actually consider playing here. It's not.
So something like queen d2.
Yeah, it's not always as stupid as it seems. I just want to play this actually, and just
going for smothered mate.
Well, no, just points. I've got rook a2 coming in, so I thought maybe I'd have some counterplay, but I think knight f5 is just going to be very strong for white. Bishop h6 is probably going to be good as well, so you can ignore me on that one. Okay, so could be quite interesting, that one. We'll see how that one develops. Let's have a look at the board one. We haven't been. Oh, and that's. Wow, a lot has happened there.
Let's see. Have a look. Look at this.
So queen b3, queen b6 was played. takes, and knight e5. So white, as we said, exploiting that, trying to exploit that that bishop on g4, and looking to play bishop b5.
So as a reminder, this is James Morby against Matthew Turner.
Indeed. Takes, pawn takes, knight d7, bishop b5. Slightly annoying pin. Bishop b7, castles. Castles queenside from Matthew Turner. So
of course, you wouldn't predict that.
So e4 now. Both sides playing quite riskily now. e4, quite a risky move there. f6 from black. Takes, bishop takes.
But the other thing, Matthew Turner doesn't usually worry too much about his pawn structure. If he can get an initiative and threats, that doesn't matter to him too much. So I'm not so surprised he's got double pawns.
Yeah. So rook e1, rook f8, which was a rather, I'm not sure about that move, to be honest, because white's just played bishop d6, rook f7 and f4. So just aiming to play e5, which is quite. You suddenly turned it into a French, basically, which from a London system is always pretty good going, really. Knight f8, e5, bishop h4. Slightly wondering whether it's a good idea to force g3 because, after all, the pawn on f4 is defended now, but maybe it gives a little bit more room to the bishop on g4. Takes, and now a4. So, yeah, I think white's definitely a little bit better here. A little bit of an initiative on the queen side coming up, and a nice space advantage as well.
So how's black going to redeploy that knight there on f8?
Tricky. If it goes to d7, we'll probably end up taking it at some stage. I guess g6, e7, f5 would be the... but, this bishop on g4 is a little bit in the way as well. I can see now that Matthew played bishop h5 to e8, which might be a reasonable idea as well. So a5, king c7. Yeah, now a very interesting decision. I would have been tempted to look at something like b4 and knight b3, just intuitively like that. But James went a6. Bishop e8, a7.
Oh, look at that pawn.
Takes, and now b4.
Okay.
Very sharp, this.
We've got an update from the other matches from John Ray's. In the other games, Middlesex B is 3-0 up versus Oxfordshire. And that's in the Open Challengers. And Manchester, under 18-25, is 2.5, 1.5 against Norfolk.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, so they've all been getting results already within half an hour of the start time.
Let's have a little
look. The only result we have is due to a disconnection so far.
Yeah, it looks like that's actually going to stand that result. Okay, so yeah, he's gone b4 now. Let's do a little bit of analysis because that's actually quite interesting. Live analysis. So how is black going to do that? Black's got a number of ideas. He could play knight g8 to e7 to c6, or knight g8 to e7 to c8 to pick up the pawn. But I think that what white's idea here is to play b4 to b5. So, for example, if you go here, I could play b5, knight e7, rook a3, for example, knight c8, rook a1. And
that looks all a bit clogged up, doesn't it?
That does all look a bit clogged up. Now, I've no idea whether white, can actually do anything positive on the other side. I've no idea really. The other idea that white could have is to play a move like knight b3, because obviously if you can get your knight to b5 in a good way, then that would be really amazing. only question is, you know, is stuff like king c6, is that possible at all? I mean, it could get very, very hairy, this. What am I looking at here? I mean, something like, I could just go rook b1, for example. And if you try and play knight e7, then I'll just take and go knight a5 check, you know, which is carnage. So...
it's looking tricky for Matthew.
Yeah, I mean, the other idea that you could do is to go... You could take on b4.
Ian, yes, you're absolutely right. We did start at 6:30. That's true. So we've been going actually an hour and 7 minutes, not just half an hour.
Time flies when you're enjoying yourself.
Very good point, Ian. Yes.
So b5. So this could be another idea for black. And then the question is, you know, how are the tempi working out really? Because
this looks better.
Well, yeah. I go rook a5.
You're not convinced. King b6.
I could go b6, I suppose, as well.
b6.
I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
Just to show one line. So king b6, rook a1. You go knight g6. Yeah, you're too slow. Simply, I go knight b3 and knight d4.
Oh, that knight. That's a well-placed knight, isn't it?
Yeah,
that one on d4. Yeah.
Then I'm picking up b5. So
yeah.
But maybe if I go rook a5, then you can go b6, rook a6, king b7.
Time flies.
Rook a1, knight f8, knight g6, knight f3, knight e7. Well, it's still looking quite difficult. I'd rather be white, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So
I think Matthew would still generate something though. He'll get a kingside attack going or something somehow.
We'll see.
But I quite liked your idea with b5 somehow, and at least getting a space for that king to go that way. Tricky.
Yeah, I suppose what I. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a tight one. That one. That's quite tricky to calculate this. We've had some moves. White didn't.
We have another result. Sorry, you carry on with this, and then we'll go to the result.
So bishop g7, white just played rook h1, which was maybe necessary. Knight c6, c3, d5, and bishop d3. But white's still threatening rook takes h7 now, so still some threats on the board there. I guess black is going to play queen d6. That looks like the most sensible here. And if bishop f4, you might well be able to get away with playing e5. But white's going to be, bishop f4, e5. And queen d6 is the move I've guessed there. Let's have a look at Keith Arkle.
Yes, the result was Robert Starley, actually.
Oh, right.
Paul O'Neill against Robert Starley. So that was Ferrari Man, which we had a look at before, and we thought he was playing something quite risky. And
yeah, that was the Marshall. Yes, that's right.
The Marshall has gone into a white win. So it's 2-0 up now. A white win.
No, it can't be a white win. It can't be a white win.
Oh, that's what it's saying on the...
What? Let's have a look.
Sorry. Actually, let me just interpret these results right. It says 1-0, which means, I guess, 1-0 to Devon. Sorry, let me understand it properly. 1-0 to Devon. Now, you're probably right. Does that mean a black win then? It says 1-0, but that's maybe a black win.
Yeah, because Keith white on 1, so
yes.
black.
Okay, you're right.
Devon was black.
Black
yeah.
win.
Okay, Devon into an early lead there. Ooh,
yes.
Okay. Right, okay. Let's have a look at what's happening with Keith against... this is looking very even. This is going to be a draw. There we are. We saw the moment. Draw agreed. So top board of Devon versus Yorkshire is a draw as well. So Devon well set here at the moment.
Okay.
Right, I'll just close that one off. William of Orange against Oldie but Goodie. Now, what I'd love to know is how do I get out of the analysis.
The ones that have finished. Oh, of the analysis. I can't tell you that probably. But what if you just click on the end arrow? Does that keep you in analysis?
That gives me an analysis.
Okay.
Reset boards. Oh, that didn't go well.
I guess you could always just close that tab completely and then open it again.
Yeah, I guess so. I'll have to do that.
And you could close that one that's a draw already, I guess.
Indeed, yes. Oh, they've agreed a draw. Okay, so we've got
that's
White was
another
thinking
one.
a little bit, but this one has agreed a draw. So okay, so all very interesting. I'll close this analysis board as well.
I do a request.
I'll go for it.
Can we see? I know Paul Dargan from years ago, who is playing. I just saw his name just now. He is on board 9 for Northumberland. Could we have a quick look at that one?
I will do my level best.
It's his nut flush. He's a bridge player. Nut flush.
It's slightly tricky.
Poker. He's in fact a poker player.
It's slightly tricky doing this, but let's have a look.
And he's up against Daniel Wells. So Daniel Wells is playing for Lincolnshire against Paul Dargan for Northumberland.
Okay, so
I guess you could do / follow nut flush.
That sounds rude, actually, but let's have a look. How do you spell it, Natasha?
It looks like just NUT FLUSH, not flush.
Okay, and then how do I have to slash? Is it / observe?
No, that should then give you that. Okay, sorry, yeah, but you won't have you need a tab open, I suppose. Yeah, you're just out of tabs.
All right. Well, I'll close a lot of tabs and then we'll see what
happens. Oh, there you are. There's not a flush.
Ah, there we are. So, looking. So pawn down, but initiative. This looks like a C3 Sicilian. Yeah, quite a theoretical line actually. I played this a few times as black. So Queen H3. What is White threatening? Is White threatening something serious? Knight takes E6 is always in there. Queen H6 is probably the most serious threat because after F6 you could go Knight takes E6. So black's got to come up with something decent against that. Yeah, I'm just let me put an analysis board up and we'll have a little look there. So what has black got here? Yeah, I mean Queen H6 is the move that you really need to want to play with black. Obviously, with white, obviously you want to get your knights developed somehow, and I mean knight here is a possibility. And if Queen H6, then you're going to aim to play Knight E8. It covers G7. The only thing that you've got to be a little bit worried about is whether Rook E3 actually works or not with mate on H7.
Or just swinging round to H3 and going for mate.
Which, to be honest, looks pretty horrific for black. So
this has been a pawn sack.
This has been a pawn sack indeed. I mean, I could play Rook E8, but now we're going to get a little bit worried about all sorts of things. I mean, first of all, Rook E3 is a possibility because, well, you're just threatening the standard Queen H7 check, followed by Rook H3 and mate.
Nice.
And I mean, even Knight takes E6 looks very dangerous as well, actually.
So maybe white's got quite a dangerous attack here.
And Rook E3 here would be horrific. So yeah, we're going to need to find some good defensive moves here. I mean,
First result in the Lincolnshire game. I'm just going to check them.
Ooh, h5 here is possible, but you could even just try g4.
Uh-huh.
It's not... Yeah, and even rook e3 is also interesting, just to come around afterwards. So this does look very, very dangerous for Black.
Promising for Northumberland. And so we have a draw. I think we did spot it already. Board 3 Lincolnshire against Northumberland. Baldy 1971 against
Indeed.
David Walker,
Indeed.
DJW. Yes.
Indeed, we'd spotted that one.
And any more results in the other match? Devon still has a 2-0 lead in the other match.
I mean, I guess maybe we should be going for something like Queen B6 here. So that if you go Queen H6, I can go F6.
Oh yes, F6.
And if you go
slows you down, doesn't it?
Yeah. If I go Rook E3, I can probably still go F6. You know, the idea is that if Knight E6, I can just take on E5. And unless you've got something very good, you know, a bishop move somewhere, which is not impossible. But for example, bishop C7 is very aesthetic, but it doesn't seem to be anything in particular. I can take on F8, but it's not that good. But maybe Queen B6 is the move that Black's got to play here.
Yeah.
I mean, there are many dangerous things here, but it could be that Black's just surviving. I mean, I was looking at going Rook E4, actually. That was also an idea, but I think you can still play F6 here. And if Rook H4, then I could take, and let's say takes here. I think surviving Queen H6, I go, no, Queen H6 could be terminal.
Oh, look at that.
Okay, Rook H7. ED Queen H6. Is that really terminal? It feels like the sort of thing where Stockfish would find an amazing way of defending, but I don't think it's true, actually. I think that's just completely winning there. So yeah, I mean, there's there's big danger. I mean, I could play F5. That would be possible, but then we've got our weak square on E6 to aim for. I mean, I think we just play, if nothing else, just Rook E3 and then Rook E1 and just pile up on E6. So yeah, could be. I think your guy is doing well.
Excellent. Okay.
Oh, Black did indeed play Queen B6 there. So Black found the best move there, I think.
Good move, yeah.
So White's going to have to think about that one. We've got Conan the Barbarian.
Okay. Who's Conan the Barbarian? Let's see.
Against Geordie Ed.
Okay, that is board 10. Nick Stead against Edward Dodds. Well, in fact,
okay.
Geordie Ed is Edward Dodds.
Fair enough. So White's played Bishop G4, probably aiming for D4 to D5 there. In principle, Black should be doing fairly well. Because you've got the hanging pawns and a lot of knights have been exchanged, dark square bishops have been exchanged, and White isn't really aiming yet at the Black king side. But that move Bishop G4 is a slightly annoying one. You're going to need to find some sort of good answer to that pin. I'm thinking about it. I'm not coming up with anything yet. I mean, I can move the rook back, but that feels a little bit...
Feel like you're giving away then, don't you?
Rook E7, yeah. Well, maybe that's the best move. You'll go Rook D8 and just try and get that. But it's a little bit annoying that you've had to do that. Rook D7 to E7 is not the moves you would normally have played. Might have considered going Bishop E4 earlier just to try and cover the king's side there. Bishop G6 afterwards, but well, going to be an interesting one there. We've got John Boyd against Joe Grimsby.
Okay.
A Scandinavian opening. principle, yeah, white looks pretty good here, really. I think black's knight on c6 is not very well placed, and white's very, very solid here. Not 100% easy to see what you're going to do with white, but it is a nice solid position to have. Maybe, I don't know, g3 bishop f4 always feels tempting. Queen can just retreat to d7, so it's not that bad.
This is board 11, by the way,
okay.
of Lincolnshire, Northumberland.
Yeah, maybe. No, you could also play knight b1, maybe even to go knight c3 into b5. That's a possibility as well. Just black's pieces are slightly awkward there with the queen on d6 and the knight on c6. But not
An update
terrible.
On the Manchester match. Manchester is 6.5, 3.5 up against Norfolk, and they only need half to win the match. You'd have thought, I wonder how many boards that is, because that sounds like if it were a 12 board match, you'd think they would already have won. 6.5, 3.5. So it must be a 14 board match. If my maths is, oh no, because that's a draw. 13 board match. What happens in a tie? You probably do some kind of thing like who wins on the top boards or take off the bottom board or something like that. That's what you used to do in the very old days.
Well, you asked whether Straight Larsen had compensation against housing crisis.
Yes.
But, well, he certainly seems to have at least had attacking chances here. So
okay, let's see it. Oh, look at the difference in time there. Look, it looks like Straight Larsen has 43 minutes and Housing Crisis has only 3.
So, yeah, black played this move to activate the queen. Bishop f4, but the queen side is still very undeveloped there. And white went for it in a big way. Played knight e5, queen d5, bishop takes h6, takes rook f6, knight f6.
Oh gosh.
And now...
Look at this attack. Right,
yeah.
now, is there a...
Well, I do wonder whether this was...
You would think to take the knight, but actually this d4 is hanging.
Yeah, let's do a little analysis board on that one. But yeah, I wonder whether it was really necessary because you were in this position really, and you're looking pretty good really. So bishop h6, well, bishop h6 can be possible, but you might have wanted to do something else here. Even something like rook e1 or maybe I don't know. But anyway, rook f6, knight f6. And let's have a look here. How is this going to work? Because queen f6 allows queen d4 check. I guess king f1, queen a1, king e2.
This is a big counter-attack.
Yeah, you're a little bit on the slow side here.
Yeah, you're not going to mate in 1 after this, are you?
You're not going to mate in 1 here, so I don't think you can do that. However, there should still be a reasonable amount of danger here. For example, if I go something like rook f1, let's try that one. Threatening rook takes f6, where does the knight go? Not an easy question to answer, that one. Because, for example, knight h7, even queen h6 can be considered. But I mean, we can do stuff just like queen g4. And if you go king h8, then I'll go knight f7 check, for example. So I guess I'd have to go knight g5, and then I could try h4, for example. It's possible. You might have some start having some desperate defences like f5, though.
Mm.
So let's have a look. Knight h7 feels like the most natural, to put the knight over there.
What if you just take on h6?
Take on h6.
Oh, they're going to take on d4 and then take your knight on... Oh, no, they can't do that.
No, I'll go f5, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm not 100% sure how you're going to continue after that.
No, I'm not yet either. I didn't work that out in advance.
No, I'm not. I'm not sure about that because E5's hanging and your back rank's still weak. So I don't think that's going to be
It's not
possible.
really enough.
I mean, I can throw in C4, but you'll probably just go Queen D8 then, which is quite. Yeah, looks very reasonable there. So I would guess that you'd want to go. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, I'm talking gibberish here. We can just take, and go Rook F6, which is going to be
very
curtains.
dangerous. So then, yes. Yeah. Oh, and you can't even take on D4 because it's defended by the queen.
Indeed. So that's
there's nothing to be done.
No, that's going to be curtains. So okay, you have to move the knight somewhere else. But this is getting well. The thing is, if you go knight D7, we'll just do our Queen G4 and knight F7. Oh, is that absolutely winning? Wow. Yes, it is winning actually. Takes, rook takes, Queen G5, rook H7 check, King G8, and Queen E6 check. So that is really bad. So what else have you got left? Oh, you could try knight E4. How about that one?
Okay, knight E4. What if we take it?
Well, if you
take on D4.
If you take it with a queen, I just obviously exchange of queens here. I just take, and then take on E5. So, and I think I'm assuming
defending. Yeah.
It's just because your back rank is weak, so you're not going to be able to.
Can't go rook F6
do very much
then.
there.
Yeah.
And just got F5 in, so knight E4.
Interesting.
Interesting indeed. Could I play? Just C3 maybe.
Oh, solid.
F5, F5, and now takes Queen H6 or Queen H6 straight away.
Yeah. Because you're not threatening an immediate knockout, are you?
We got Rook F6 there. I don't know. This is quite. But I think
Rook F6. But then you could go bishop. Could you go bishop E4 then? Because that attacks that queen.
Yeah, Rook takes H6 then. Knight E4 looks quite cunning actually. I think.
Okay. Can we see what they did?
Always a little bit tough to go
it's
back.
Tricky to do that. Yeah.
Because if only I could go back to the actual game from.
There must be a way of doing that, of course.
Share, download. No, it's not that one. No, that's another one. Yeah, I'm afraid I don't actually know how to do that, so I will just simply have to close this.
Okay. Yes.
This one and then try and open it again. Oh, white played C4 in actual fact. Queen D8, King G7. Let's see, can I? There we are. Oh, we got it. There we are.
You did it. Oh, well done.
C4, Queen D8, Rook F1, and King G7. That looks very worrying, I think. Am I going Rook F3 here? I'm wondering about King G7 actually. Was that really? I thought maybe instead of King G7, maybe we might go Knight H7. Knight H7 there, just to Queen G3 check, King H8. Oh, good Lord, we're not going to repeat, are we?
No.
Because what black could actually do here is black could actually go Knight G8 in this position. Okay, I think Knight G8 was possible.
Is that all right? Can't we take on a?
Yeah, I take and go Queen D4 check and then pick up
the
your bishop
same
on D3.
thing again. The same
always
again.
Always the same tricks. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's all very fraught, of course, but.
Can we check back in on Matthew Turner against James Morby? We
certainly can.
So if you need to know a name on that. So Matthew Turner was IMAT 64. So IMMATT64.
Yeah, I'm just trying to close tabs because obviously
Close some tabs. Yes, that's true.
Oh no, I seem to have run out. Okay, then I'll just grab the link again. Copy link. And let's have a look. Oh, G4 White has played in this. My goodness, he's going for it.
Wow. And in fact, the crowd's asking for board one as well. That was coincidental that I asked for it too.
There we are.
Here we go.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, right. So, right. So now
what actually happened there after B4? We got knight D7, knight F3, H6 to stop the knight coming to G5. Oh, and then James played positionally. I thought he was going to play B5. I really did.
Do you think E5 would have been a good move? Looks strong to me.
It feels quite good. Rook EC8, H5, King D8. Well, as you know, you could always play it, of course.
Yeah.
But I think it's what you want to do, really, B5. Because black's never going to play C4 just to let you get a knight onto D4. So
I suppose white can still do that at some point.
Well, unfortunately, King F2, black played B5. Yeah, I'm not sure. It feels B5 feels like because then you could just play on the king side, and it looks very strong to me. But Rook B1, B6.
So Matthew Turner's got a little bit more flexibility probably than he had a few moves ago.
Indeed. B takes C5, knight takes C5. Interesting. And Rook C7. So this is very complicated, this one. I mean, it's black's got some counterplay now with knight E4 check. But he's going to have to get rid of that C3 pawn first. In general, I think black's struggling here, but I mean, I guess white plays Rook B6. That looks quite natural. And then I guess that black is going to try and get rid of that pawn. So maybe, I don't know, a Rook A7 or something. Let's do a little analysis. Board. So Rook C7, Rook B6, maybe Rook A7. I'm not sure which. We'll take anyway, I think. Takes. And then knight D4. Ooh.
So white's got, at the moment, an extra pawn. Although black could, it looks like black could win it. It's still tactics, lots of tactics going on here.
I mean, maybe something like Rook A3. Oh, you're going to be very lucky if this works for you. I mean, even stuff like F5, for example, just to come around and start trying to grab some kingside pawns. I think black's in quite a bit of trouble here.
Yeah.
And how much time white's
got?
White's
21
minutes.
The edge.
Yeah.
Yeah. They both had quite a bit of time now. Yeah.
White's played knight D4 straight away, just which is probably even cleverer because it stopped Rook A7 because of knight C6 check. King D7, and now I guess white's going to take on B6, and we're going to go in for. Ooh, no, wait a minute. Oh, this is. Yeah, because if we're. Let's just show you the position again. So after Rook B6, if you go Rook A7, I'll probably throw in Rook check here. And you just don't have a good square for your king because king there
you can't go back to E7 because of the fork. Yeah.
Here and here. So after Rook B6, what are you going to do? That is a very good question.
So it's still very tricky for black then.
I'd say this. It looks lost.
Do you think it's as much as losing? Yes, lost.
It looks lost to me. But we've had this. But knight takes C6 now. Oh no! Of course, there's knight E4 check. Tricky. Matt Turner. Always tricky.
Of course he's tricky. He's always tricky.
But King F3, I think, is what we want to do. guess. He's going to have some tricks, but I really don't think this should be enough. I mean, I do think this should be just a win for white in principle.
So if James manages to keep his cool, he should be on the winning side then.
He should be on the winning side, I think. But tricky defence from Matt Turner as always.
Okay, we do actually have a result from this same match, which is on board 4. So the Boston Strangler against Tim Peter Wall.
The Boston Strangler beat Tim Wall. Okay.
Yes, indeed. So that's Nigel Birtwistle, to give him his more usual name. I think he's not actually the Boston Strangler.
Well, maybe somebody should tip the police off.
Yes, so, we know where he is.
Indeed. Oh, I see that Atomic Bacon lost to Deanon 2020.
Oh, let me have a look at that.
I think is that the lower boards of Northumberland?
Atomic Bacon is actually board 8. And so Atomic Bacon is Stephen Pryor playing for Lincolnshire. And Deanon 2020 is David Mooney playing for Northumberland. Okay, so that actually evens up the score.
Indeed. Excellent.
Well, that looks pretty. Yes, that looks like that White King was in trouble at the end of that game.
So let's have a look. This is a straight Larsen against Housing Crisis. Housing Crisis down to 1 minute. Straight Larsen playing for the win.
So this King's actually come out round via F8.
Yeah,
because we were worried about H-file tactics at some point, weren't we?
Indeed, the King's managed to escape a little bit. Still very, very dangerous indeed. So I'm wondering about all sorts of things, but I mean, do we have Knight G6 check in this position? I don't know. Let's have a little look at on the analysis board. So if we go Knight G6 check, the idea is takes. Not 100% easy to find a good square for the queen. The F pawn is pretty useful there. For example, if you go Queen H7, I'll go Queen D6 check simply, and well, I'll get an F7, which is going to be quite awkward at the very least. I might have some other moves, maybe even D5 could be dangerous. I don't know. D5 could be very dangerous.
This looks strong for white.
Yes, I mean, black can take on G6 with the rook and do it this way, but this still looks very, very, very difficult. Takes here. King there, queen there. Queen D6, King E8 is it's not over. It's not over. That's might not be 100% clear there. Is there something better? I mean, black's quite tied up, so I mean, I guess you could play for a move like King H2 to G3 or Rook F3 to allow the king to go round to F1. But it's quite murky,
Yeah, we've got a couple more results in the other match.
Okay.
So this is the match of Devon V Yorkshire, and the game we were looking at earlier, Dominic Mackle against Dr. Death. So Demon Dom against Dr. Death is now a draw.
Okay.
Yes.
And we got one a bit further on, Tim Poulden against David
Tim Poulden
Wedge.
against David Wedge, also a draw. Fruitcake 67 against Exeter Prez.
So 3-1 at the moment.
3-1 at the moment to Devon. Yes.
Okay.
And it wasn't Arkle against James Adair. That was drawn, wasn't it?
That was drawn as well, yeah.
That's not registered yet on the match, but that's so it's actually 3.5, 1.5.
Fair enough. Okay.
Any advance on? Yeah, sorry. we go.
White actually played bishop g6, which, come to think of it, was also very, very interesting. Takes gf, queen takes a3, queen h6 check. This is looking very painful
indeed. This
indeed.
looks really good for white.
Yeah, king e8, f7.
If the king goes 3-8, you've got f7 check, winning everything.
Yeah, I think taking with the rook on g6 would have led to the same thing. But yeah, would have led to what we were looking at, which wasn't completely clear. But this is completely gone. Well done, Straight Larsen. Very nice game. So what does that actually do for us? Who was Straight Larsen? Oh, that was Northumberland getting a point back.
Yes, yes. So, in fact, that by my reckoning takes Northumberland into the lead. Yes, but still very close, and lots of games to go. Could we have a look at Samuel Milson against Ken Neate?
All right.
So Samuel Milson is Milson Machine. And
okay,
Ken Neate is Isolani 2044. This is Lincolnshire, Northumberland, board 7.
Okay, I'll need the other link. Let's have a look. Oh, sorry, just wrestling with my mouse. Let's have a look. Copy link. Let's have a look what we've got. Right. Okay, let's. I'll just close this one here. Now we should have that. Oh, good lord! Sorry, just. Oh, somebody's resigned there. White's won.
Oh.
Just close some tabs and we'll see whether we can. Here we are. Yoselani against Milson Machine.
Excellent. Yes.
Well, it looks like Isolani is doing very well here.
So Isolani is Ken Neate for Northumberland. Looks to have a good position against Samuel Milson for Lincolnshire.
Yeah, I think Rook d8 wins on the spot here.
Oh gosh.
Just cutting off the king and threatening Rook d6. I mean, other moves probably too, but that's the first one that comes to mind.
Okay. And Isolani has only 7 minutes left, but that should be enough, I guess, in this position.
It's just one move to find. I mean, other stuff might be good. Rook g7 is probably very strong as well, but I'd go Rook d8 and then just Rook d6 check, and it's game over there.
Yeah, that queen and rook are just so powerful against the king, which is a bit exposed there on e6.
Yeah. No, I think that one's gone, I'm afraid, for black.
Okay, so that actually would, when that's happened, we just saw Northumberland take one more point, so this would be another point as well. So Northumberland's opening up a little bit of a lead against Lincolnshire. And if board 1 goes how we think it might, James Morby against Matthew Turner, that would increase the lead even more. What we haven't checked in on for a little while was Yichin Han against Chris Dorrington.
Oh, there we are. I've got it here.
You've got that there, as luck would have it.
So, what has happened here? Well,
this is board 2.
Yeah, white is still a pawn up. That's the good news. Exchange of queens. Yeah, black has made some inroads on the king side. I mean, that h5 g4, that could be quite dangerous in the long run. So. Would I prefer black here? I think I'd prefer black, to be honest. But I mean, white's played b4 to play b takes c5. I mean, I wonder whether you can just ignore that and just play h5, and after b takes c5, just play g4. That might actually just be quite nice for black. Easy to play, and you know, just Because if you go c takes b4, then white gains a tempo with bishop b4, just slows you down slightly. But I think just h5 and g4 looks quite nice for black.
Yeah. Okay. And that would, so if black wins that would be another win for Northumberland. So Northumberland's getting a bit of an advantage, I think, in this match.
Yeah, I mean,
although there's a few balls we haven't seen, so you never know.
This is Matthew Turner against James Morby, and this is looking very bad now.
Very bad for black.
Yeah, just rook a7 check is the threat.
Yeah, look at those two pawns coming through on e5 and f5, very strong.
Yeah, just rook a7 check now, king e8, f6, and
so what trick is Matthew Turner trying for with this move? I wonder.
I don't know, to be honest. I don't think there
maybe
are
there's no more tricks. I
think there's no more tricks, even for someone like Matthew. I think no more tricks. Yeah, rook a7 and f6 threatens rook e7 mate actually. So I think that's and f7 mate as well. So yeah.
All right, I'm going to have a quick look at the other match. Oh, lots has happened in the other match.
Oh right, okay. I'll bring it up.
Excellent. Let's go. So board 2 is finished now, and that was
William Claridge Hansen.
William Claridge Hansen against Oscar Hackner. So that was a win for black on 2. And we had a look at that one. We also, so actually Devon looks to be in the lead, and we've got one on the lower boards as well. Chris Lowe, Time Trouble 65, has got a win against the Simpson Nerd 42, who is Joe Varley. So it's actually 5.5, 1.5 already.
Yeah, that's looking
Devon.
very, very good for Devon.
Well, now it's only a 12-board match, so Devon just needs one more point to secure the win there.
Indeed. And let's just have a look at the current standing of the Lincolnshire against Northumberland.
Yeah.
That's a lot more cagey, that one. 1.5 each.
Yes, although we think there's at least 3 where Northumberland we think are doing pretty well in that.
James Morby is definitely gonna win that one, I think. And Yichin Han, I do like black's position, but it's not that's not winning yet or anything. Certainly, that's just I think quite good for black.
Yeah, and we quite liked Ken Neat as well, didn't we, against Samuel Milson? Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is soon going to be agreed.
All right, should we go for a game we haven't looked at all yet?
Go for it.
I'm going to pick one. I'm going to pick one from the Lincolnshire Northumberland match. What about board 12, which is David Coates against Clive Waters?
And that is?
So that David Coates is Silent Assassin.
We've got it. Here it is.
Brilliant.
I'm afraid it wasn't. It wasn't the most thrilling of games.
Oh, my random pick.
I think, come to think of it, I do think white's a bit better though. In actual fact, yeah. If anyone's got an advantage, it's white here definitely. I can play knight
Okay,
c6.
and so white is white is Silent Assassin. Ah, is that right? No, obviously it is right, but I would have thought board Silent Assassin should be black in that match. Board 12.
Board 12. Matthew Turner. No, Chris Dorrington is white. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So a white on. Yes, no, that is right. Apologies.
Yeah, so white's a little bit better. I mean, knight c6 is going to be a tiny edge. You followed up with rook d6 after, but
you need good technique though, don't you, to win this one?
You will need good technique to win this one. Yeah. Yeah.
Karpov would have a job with this one, although he'd probably manage, right?
Yeah, if you had Karpov playing. If you had Karpov playing for your county team, you wouldn't be unhappy if you got a position like this. But I don't know. We'll see what Silent Assassin can make of it. Brainache against Mikhail Fiordorovich. Who was Mikhail Fiordorovich? It was a normal Englishman, wasn't it? I think it was Andrew Lawson.
Nice.
So he's Northumberland and. Playing against white is Lincolnshire. So white's actually actually 2 pawns up there, Lincolnshire. So so yeah, looks like black's going to remain, white's going to remain 2 pawns up actually. So this looks winning for white. So this is going to be a point back for Lincolnshire, I think.
And congratulations to Paul Dargan. We saw Nut Flush. We saw his game. Looked like he had a good attack going there, and he has managed to convert that. So that's
Excellent.
another one for Northumberland.
Oh, okay. Let's have a look.
Actually, I think our audience was cheering for Northumberland at the start. I don't know if we've got more of a balance now, but it's looking good for Northumberland at the moment. Right, the crowd is predicting the final score, and Joss Haynes is predicting an 8-4 win, I think, to Northumberland.
Interesting.
8-4.
Yeah.
That's quite a big win. But
indeed.
Could be.
Oh, but actually, we've Straight Larson has also won as well for Northumberland, so they're actually a few more points up. James Morby's going to win, so yeah, no, that's but Brainacre looks like it's going to win for Lincolnshire. Milson Machine is going to lose against Ken Neat normally. Yes. I saw that Ken had not played it the very best, but it's still
okay. Well, remember he didn't have that much time, so you never know, do you? You never know with online chess what's going to happen.
But it's still looking very, 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 very winning for white. But
so it's got to an end game.
Yeah, it should have been just winning on the spot, but still looking very good for white.
Yes.
Actually, can you?
Morby has won. The crowd is saying Morby has won already.
Not surprising. Well done, James Morby. A very nice game. Really, very nice game
indeed. Good win there for James.
Yeah, indeed. Have a look at the final position there. Oh, Matthew sportingly allowing checkmate there with rook e7. Very nice. Yeah, definitely. I think a very, very classy game there. Actually, a very good game. So well played. Am I still there? Of course, I'm still here.
You are still there.
Let's have a look what... okay, so black...
A Devon win. The crowd is shouting about a Devon win. Let me see. Well, I think Devon are winning quite a lot. Devon 6.5, 2.5. Okay, they've won the whole match. Yeah, indeed. And so we have wins for Devon. William Claridge, Hanson, Gary Lane, Paul O'Neill, Jonathan Underwood. A win for Yorkshire for Farshad I, and a win for Devon of Chris Lowe. So at the moment, 6.5, 2.5.
Well done, Devon. Very, very fine match indeed. Yeah, Lincolnshire, Northumberland
and
is
James
still...
Morby wins now coming through.
It's still tense, but I think it's clear that Northumberland have got the upper hand there. Because...
Can we look at another game from that match? Let's look at... what haven't we looked at? We might have looked at them all, but how about Conan the Barbarian? We didn't look at that for a while, did we?
No,
Nick Stead against Edward Dodds.
Let's see what we can get when I close some tabs. Conan the Barbarian, there we are. It hasn't been progressing very fast. It's been all very cagey. So, Rook A3. Interesting. I wonder what Rook A3 is about. I'm not very sure, to be honest. I think if I was black, I'd...
Is it trying to stop Bishop A6?
Maybe you're right. Could be. I think if I was... if I was black... Or maybe stop Queen C8 as well. That was maybe another idea that the black had. But it doesn't stop Queen C8. So, I mean, maybe... Just for a quick analysis board. It's a little bit clunky switching like this all the time, but just how it has to be. Because we could play Queen C8 in this position, attacking C4. Because if Rook A7, we've got Bishop G2.
Okay.
And if you go D5, then I've got, anything but Bishop D5. Because there's a pin on the C4 pawn.
Yeah.
So...
okay, so that looks like an interesting move then. Queen C8 perhaps for black next.
Yeah, I mean, maybe white will have to start defending. he's got to be careful. I mean, how does he defend? He can't go rook c3 because d4 hangs. He might have to go bishop e2, but then that's quite a nice concession, really, because, you've kind of got what you wanted.
Yeah, because we only just put it there, didn't we, on g4?
Yeah, you could look at rook cd7 then. I mean, it's not it's hardly, black's not going to find it very easy to make progress, but if anyone is going to do it, it's going to be black. I mean, you could bishop d5. Got all sorts of ideas there, at least. I think bishop a6 even, maybe. I think, yeah, I mean, if anyone's going to be better, it's black in that position. So just seeing Isolani against Milson machine. Black's being very resourceful, but I just don't see how you stop h6, h7, which is just going to be absolutely killing.
Should we have a look at one of the Devon Yorkshire games?
Yep, go for it.
So we could let's look at board 12. So that is Oliver Wensley against Aaron Rich.
Black has resigned in this game, by the way, so that's another win for Northumberland, I think.
Okay, yes.
Northumberland looking very, very good here, I think. Getting close, actually. I think they've got 5.5 now since Straight Larsen also won. So, yeah, a couple more solid results and they'll be there, I think. Sorry, you wanted to have a look at?
I was thinking board 12 of Devon against Yorkshire.
Okay,
so
let me just I'll just find the link and we'll see what happens there. All right, so I'll just remove some of the.
Yeah.
Who did you? Who is it, Natasha?
So it's Oliver Wensley. So Magnolia Chess against Aaron Rich, who is Aaron Rich 01.
Okay, I'll just close some tabs there. Sorry, just Chris Dorrington against Peshka the Great is hotting up a little bit there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We've got Black's just played f3, and now possibly knight g5 is going to be the move, I would have thought.
Oh, yes, that looks strong.
But it's not
100%
clear.
Would you oh, no, you can't even do
it's
that.
Not 100, yeah, I mean, knight f3, king g2, knight d2, dc is quite murky. It's really where you'd like to reach with the engine, really. Maybe bishop f3 is better, possible. And then if rook f1, I go knight g5. That might be, that is probably a lot stronger in actual fact. Actually, bishop f3 is looking very awkward for white there, I think. Yeah, I think bishop takes here. Because you've got, I mean, you've also got rook h8 coming in as well. So white's going to have to do something a bit desperate, I think.
Oh, look at that, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
You've got knight g5 coming in now. I'm afraid this is, I guess this is going to be another Northumberland
Your guess
win,
was correct. Yeah, yeah.
All right. I've got Solidster.
So I was going for...
I've got Solidster against IDDT, which we haven't seen so far.
All right.
I don't know who that is. That should be down at the bottom of...
it's finished already. It's Parshed I against Paul Hampton.
Has it finished already?
A win for Black. Yep.
Oh, okay. Maybe they're playing again then. Okay.
All right. Yeah.
I've got Ben Rich against BRSC.
Yep.
Was that the one that you wanted to see?
That wasn't, but we can have a quick look at that one.
Let's have a look. So, well, if anyone's worse, then white definitely is. Black's got a number of ways of playing here. I mean, d5 is opening up the line against g4. So that's hoping to liquidate a little bit. Actually, come to think of it, it's not so bad for white, is it? This probably is going to end up a draw, I think. Oh no, actually, sorry, I'm just I'm being a little bit slow here. We could just play rook d5, and after rook g4, king f7, when we go knight takes c5 afterwards. So black's going to have two connected pass pawns. I think that's going to be very unpleasant for white, that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So that was board 10, and then board 12.
There we are, Aaron Rich against
Oliver
Magnolia
Wensley
Chess.
and Aaron Rich. Yes.
But white is a whole piece down there.
Oh, there's a whole piece in that one. So which side? So that looks like Devon as well. So yeah, it's going to be a solid win here for Devon, I think.
Yeah, just rook g2 check here is very strong. You just pick up this f4 pawn with check, and yeah, I think that's just that's gonna be game over.
Okay, Ken Neat has won.
Yes.
Yes, he was looking very good. Yeah.
Yeah, this is sorry, just closing a few of the.
Oh, and this one has happened. Bishop f3. Yes, this is looking good for Yichinhan.
Yeah, this is going to be end up a win. I mean, if you look at white's pieces, knight on b6, bishop on b4, they're just they just ended up rather useless there. So I guess bishop takes d1 now, I would have thought, and then maybe knight f4 feels the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Just to try and keep the white king a little bit tied down.
Ken Neat, a bit of a legend. I know Ken Neat a bit, but not that well. So what has
he's a
what's Ken Neat? Is he a translator? Yes.
He translated lots of Russian books.
Okay. So probably we've all read books by Ken Neat.
I think we have.
Well, not by him, but translated by him.
Translated by him, yeah.
Very good. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know how old Ken is, but must be getting on a bit. So great result there to be playing online.
Can anyone tell us how old Ken Neat is?
I'm hoping desperately that I really do have the right person, that I would not.
Yeah. Otherwise, we're saying he's really old and he's not. No, but I think you're right.
No, I think that's
sure you're right. Well, there's symbols against everybody in these matches, you know, and I was trying to just work out. Maybe it's their membership. There's gold. It looks like gold, silver, bronze. Maybe it's their.
Okay, yeah, that's probably true.
ECF membership category. Oh, it is, yeah, because I think Matthew Turner hasn't got one, and I think he's not a member. There we go. That's the theory proved. So yes, an update on the scores. So we now have Northumberland 5.5 to 1.5. So they just need another half to level match, but another
6-2 in actual fact now.
6-2 on yours. Oh gosh.
So and
so that's it. So just a half point to absolutely guarantee the win.
Yeah, Devon Yorkshire.
And I think Devon had already gone past the finishing post.
6.5, 2.5 indeed. So no more results though. So let's keep on looking at what's still going on. Okay, we've got Conan the Barbarian against Geordie Ed.
Oh yes, let's see that.
Oh, black's played b5. Solid, but would have maybe liked a bit.
I'm covering the attack on that rook on a6. Yeah.
Yeah, would have liked maybe to try and get a bit more pressure against the c pawn, but okay. Now, what does white do in this position? Not 100% easy to say. Yeah. There's no sort of clear way to to really just make it a draw or resolve it very easily. So it's quite difficult. Bishop takes.
Do you think white's playing for the draw here?
I think white should be playing for a draw here, yeah, because just that pawn on d4 is very weak. You know, that's always going to tie you down. Yeah. So, I mean, the pass c pawn is going to restrict a piece. So, for example, if you exchange off bishops, then the queen on c6 will be tied down, and that'll always give you stuff like, you you can sacrifice the D pawn and then the C pawn will run. But yeah, it's going to be somewhat unpleasant for white to play this, I think.
You could try like rook B1 and then try and swap off the A pawns and see if you can get something against that B pawn.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a bit difficult. I mean, I think, you know, black can always try and play A5, B4. We can play the queen to A8, which is a very annoying move, or queen to B7 and possibly threaten queen D7 as well.
Yeah,
I think
white's
it's just
never going to get a D5 break in, is he?
No, I mean it's not lost for white, but it is definitely unpleasant, I think.
As he's bringing out the king, maybe that's not a bad idea, because then it stops that. If the bishop ever does take on G2, there were tricks on that before, weren't there? And they would have been check.
I think black can play A5 now. Maybe try and get him B4.
Yeah, because you don't want him to go B4. You'd have to go A3, I suppose. And...
Or you can go queen B7, maybe stop bishop F3. That's a lot of ideas there.
Yeah.
Ken is about 76, they said. Born in
1976. Yeah.
Indeed.
Very nice.
And playing online chess and winning. Well done. Very well done indeed. Let's have a look at another game. John Boyd against Joe Grimsby. What have we got here? Exchange sacrifice. Very dangerous pass pawn. But does black have any ideas to stop anything? Not easy. How are you stopping B7 to B8? That bishop on C6 is, of course, very, very useful. So here we play King H2 with white.
Play with some checks.
Well, King H2 and you've got no more checks.
It's just one check. It's only one check.
Oh. I mean, B7 is.
You could go rook E8.
I may take that.
And if he takes, you go bishop E4 and go for mate on H1 just to surprise him.
We've got Queen F7 check, I'm afraid there.
That would throw that plan out. I'm not really expecting the plan to work because the position's lost, I think.
Yeah, I mean, when you go Queen B1, I can just I go B7. I'll just sort of I can block, probably not with Bishop B5, but I can block with Bishop B6 and then go B8 Queen. The only thing that you can hope is that somehow the white pieces get a bit tangled up, you know, whilst you're taking material. But it's hard to.
Sorry, just the chat is saying Ken Neat collaborated with Korchnoi in his famous Chess Is My Life book, and I just suddenly thought we should have got Ken Neat in Chess for Life and Korchnoi, of course, but we were a bit late with Korchnoi. Northumberland winning 6.5. Yeah, that's been looking on the cards for a little while.
Let's have a look. We'll just refresh.
Oh, it's only 6 online, but I guess there's something to still come through there.
All right, let's keep on looking through the games. Brian Ake against Mikhail Fiordorovich. Well, white's a lot of pawns up, and black's trying his best to create a mess. Never a bad thing in online chess. Yes, King D1. I was going to say is quite sensible, just to get the king away from the black king and from the black knight. And then somehow you just want to, you just got to get your pawns moving. So if you can play knight c6 next, you know, if black gives you that chance, then that should help an awful lot.
Geordie Ed got a draw. You did look at that game. Conan the Barbarian against Geordie Ed. I can't remember which game that was. But it was board 10.
They agreed a draw
here.
In this position.
Was that the night ending that Karpov would have liked?
No, that was the That was this position, which I think.
This one we've been looking at. Yes, yes.
Yeah,
oh, whoa, a draw. That's a good result for white then.
Yeah, I think black was doing very well there, I think. But okay. Was that also in the Lincolnshire match? That was indeed.
Yes.
That's
yes, that's the one that's taken. Okay, so that's taken. Maybe yes, that's just taken Lincolnshire.
I would have expected Conan the Barbarian to go down fighting till the end, to be honest, but a draw there, and that gives Northumberland the victory. I did, yes, I played Korchnoi.
Matthew Sadler, have you ever played Korchnoi?
Yes. Indeed, 3 times. 1 win, 1 loss, 1 draw.
Wow, that's good.
A very nice win, I have to say. A slightly disappointing loss, but a very fun analysis session with him afterwards, and one rather quiet draw. So.
And I haven't played Korchnoi, I'm afraid. But I did chat to him a little bit. He was at the London Chess Classic with his wife. Very nice.
Black playing h4 here. I think we might just take that, actually. But b8 queen should also be good enough, I guess. A little bit slightly risky, maybe, but not too bad. I think we hide on h4 from all the checks, and we'll be doing fine. Okay, so that's looking like a win for white.
Yorkshire has pulled one back, which I think the new result there might be William of Orange against Oldie but Goodie.
Okay.
You have that already? And so William of Orange won that game. Sorry, I should give proper names here. Douglas Fleecehalver against Walter Brown.
Conan the Barbarian. I'm just closing some windows just to see whether we can get to the remaining games.
Yeah. We're actually close to being able to have just the remaining games up, because we've got two games left in the Devon match, Devon against Yorkshire, and 1, 2, 3. Oh no, we can 3 games left in the other match, so you can just about do it with your 5 windows.
Let's have a look. Always a little bit tough to do this. We've got Chris Dorrington here, very short on time, and I'm afraid his position's gone as well there.
Yes.
The c6 pawn's going, and it's going to end up being mate, I'm afraid.
We kept that going a long time.
Rook f6, I think, is going to be the one. So. Yeah, so big performance at the top, really, from Northumberland there.
Yeah, and in midfield, 7,
Indeed.
8, and 9. Yeah, including
C5.
Ken Neat.
That's a very odd move, Rook c5. Oh, fair enough. He's going to go into f3. That is also very
He's going
powerful.
for mate.
But yeah, indeed. Last trick is knight d7. If black takes on c6, then that's rather embarrassing, but rook c1 is mate. So I think this one's going to be finished.
It's gone. Okay, so just 4 games left. 4 Cumbers against Andrew Lawson. So that's Brainache and Mikhail Fiordorovich.
Oh, okay, let's have a look at that one. Because black has been loads of pawns down, but is playing very resourcefully, and I'm sure driving white crazy with all these knight forks.
We've got a shout out to Douglas V for his win, a Beverley player. And it's not the first game he played today. He's also played 2 games in the 4NCL Congress.
Wow.
So he's somebody that likes his chess.
Oh, having a look at this game, this is quite interesting. I think it's white's threatening to go b5 and rook b4. That is the big big problem for black. So,
Yeah.
and
It's three pawns up, isn't it, for white?
You're just going to be faster, I'm afraid. I mean, I think black kind of has to try and just go king g3, king h4. I don't think there's another reasonable thing to do there, really. No, king g3, b5, king h4, rook b4. Yeah. Takes. Maybe you've got a miracle. I don't think so. I think this is probably gone for black here. Let's have a look. This one should also be gone for black, really. White just needs to find some sort of accurate way to win, as always. With look at white. White's only got 34 seconds though, so obviously always a little bit nerve-wracking when that happens. But white is a clear piece up, so should in principle just be good.
So Dave Mooney on actually one of the lower boards on the Northumberland team on board 8. Yeah, and Queen F4 used to be 220 strength. Oh, sorry.
And Queen F4 now is going to be winning for white. So it looks like this is just going to be a win for white as well. So now just close that one off. John Boyd declined a draw. Oh, that was a bit of a cheeky offer there, I think. King h6. My goodness. There's Queen g6.
Like Alpha Zero.
Well, there's Queen g6 mate.
Not quite like Alpha Zero.
Excellent.
Yes, there it goes. Okay, that's that one. Okay, so we just have what, 3 games left?
Yeah, I've got one up, and I'll have to try and see if I can find the others.
So brain ache.
We got brain ache. Have we got?
Let's see if we've got any more. I'm just looking at the Devon match. There's just one going on, the Devon match, which is board 10. Thomas Thorpe against Ben Rich.
Yeah,
and Ben Rich's name is Ben Rich. Yeah, Ben Rich.
Just like that. Oops.
Just BENRICH.
See whether that works. Yes, there we are. We said that that black would get 2 connected pass pawns on the queen side. I didn't realise that white would get 2 connected pass pawns as well.
Yeah.
So, good lord, what is this ending?
Can you let it? If you let it queen, you've got a knight fork, but it might turn into a knight, and then who knows what's happening?
Yeah, I think we'd be happy if it turned into a knight. I think, but good lord, g5 is probably the best way to do it. Yes, turning it into a knight would be a classy move, but not an effective one, I don't think.
Can you do the mate with the? Oh, if you got 2 knights and a pawn, you'd just.
Yeah, but those
if black had to give its.
Those pawns are going to be. Yeah. How are we going to do this? King b4, knight d2, c5, c4, c3. Yeah. King b3. I don't like king b3. Because it doesn't help at all. I mean, you're still...
Doesn't help with the check situation,
no, I mean,
does it?
King b4, knight d2, c5, I think was I think what you should do, and just and see whether that works out. But here, black can play f5 now, or g6 rather. Yeah.
G6,
f5.
Yeah,
f5 would have taken on g5, but
yeah.
Because now, yeah, when you play the knight to d2, you're going to get a check. I don't know. King c2. Okay. Knight d2.
So knight d2 we have to do now.
I think it's you're threatening knight c4 afterwards. Knight g7, king
Knight c4, forcing queens. Oh, or unless he turns it to a knight at that point.
Well,
but let's say forcing queen.
Yeah,
and then knight a3.
I would think this would be a draw, to be honest. I mean, you go knight g7, I go knight c4.
So White's done well then to get this.
Although, I'm having some regrets, some thoughts actually, because so knight g7 just stop the pawn from advancing. If I go knight c4, you give a knight f5 check, and if king e4, I've got knight d6 check. So I go king f3.
Oh, yeah.
And king f3, I've got knight h4. Knight f4. Oh, wow.
Oh. Okay.
Well.
Oh, no. Now knight c4.
King f4. No, knight c4 won't work. You'll just take on g6. I could go. I think king f4, king d2, g7 would have been a very long queen ending. This one. This is going to be a draw, I think. We go king to e2. You go. Oh no, he goes knight e7. Knight c4, b1, check, king b2, takes. I go king d3, king there. Yeah, that's going to be a draw. You can't get back to protect your pawn. So king e2 should be fine here. King e2 is just going to be fine. Nerve-wracking to calculate, though, with little time on your clock. Let's have a look how Brainache is doing. Brainache has got a lot of passed pawns. Yeah, I mean, rook f6 was possible as well, but a little bit flashy, I think. Here, White's just threatening b7 and b8, so this is going to be winning for Brainache. So,
do you know, I suddenly had it thinking that, those pawns were like, I didn't realise quite how close they were to queening. These pawns on a7 and
it's
b6.
7.5, 2.5 to Northumberland so far, and it is 7.5, 3.5 to Devon. So actually, Ben Rich's result is going to be very important to see whether he can get the prediction. If this is a draw, then
yes.
8. Oh, king d4. Oh, I don't think king d4 was right.
Oh.
King d2, J queen,
though.
b1.
Oh gosh, the game goes on.
Yeah, we can go. Can we go queen g5 check here? I think. Oh, I thought queen g5 and queen g6 was possible, because you can't swap off queens here because knight e7 simply covers.
Oh. Yeah.
And I don't think that. No, I think that this is not working now. I could go king's. Oh, no. I think Black's odds on here to win. I think, but unless I've missed something very clever, I think queen g5 check before would have was a better chance anyway. Because I think with the geometry you could get around to a fork of the king and the pawn on c6, but this I'm afraid does not look. Maybe Black should try king c. Why should try king c5 and just get the king around that pawn?
Yeah, that's an idea. Yeah.
But this is again, you're just helping Black here, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
So king b2 simply is going to be winning. Oh, really a very close one there, but I think a draw would have been a fair result there, but very good perseverance from Black here. Yeah, queen c2 now is one idea, for example.
Yeah.
Going to take a little while, but that will. Let's have a look. Brainache did beat Mikhail Fiordorovich.
Oh, it's finished. Yes. So that was the night ending. No, this is the night ending. Oh, yes. That was the other one. The other night ending.
Exactly. So that was a win. So Brainick pulls one back for Lincolnshire.
Okay. So do we have a final score then in that match?
And then we've got, we do actually. It's going to be 8.5 for 3.5.
8.5, 3.5. There you go. That's actually more than 8-4.
And yeah, this one, this could actually end up to be 8.5, 3.5 as well. It looks like, because I think BRFC is the black player indeed. It's going to be a little bit nervy, but I would guess that black should make this.
So congratulations to Northumberland. 8.5, 3.5. That's the final result. And congratulations to Devon as well, though we don't know the exact final score.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting actually, because we're going to force the exchange of queens now. Or his mate actually. It's forced mate. Queen f6, queen f4, queen e3. So because ratings-wise, it was quite quite tricky really, you know, but very tight matches. But actually turned out to be very. Black's got to be careful here that he doesn't repeat too often. He did actually have force mate there, but I mean, if you don't want to do it, I mean, something like queen c3 is strong. Queen e3 check first, maybe. Ooh, I don't like that at all. You want to keep your queen near to the king, so because now you're going to start getting checks and stuff like that. I wonder whether Black's aim is Black was going to try and get his king back to b7 maybe, but that would be a bit of a shame.
Looks like White offered a draw, which is, I guess, a bit optimistic.
That is very optimistic. Knight c3 would be a good move here. Okay. Yeah, I think Black is really going to bring the king all the way back to b7. Then maybe play knight b6 and then try and push the c pawn, which is sensible.
Yeah.
Maybe
Black should manage.
A little overcautious maybe, but still very sensible. Are you still there? I am still there. So, king b6 now, I guess. Why is Black thinking? These sort of moves you can play quite quickly, I think. Just get the king back to b7. Knight round to b6. To block the check if you want, and then just push the c pawn. Should be enough. Then later you'll come back with a king and...
So White's got to try for a repetition somehow.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to.
It's not going to happen. Does he? Chess.com will pick it up automatically, I guess, if they do.
Oh yes. But we've got no repetitions here. I mean, the king's just gone all the way back to. All right. Ah, dear.
Good. So shall we assume this one is going to be a win for Black in the end?
I think we can certainly assume that.
Excellent. Well, thank you everybody very much for watching our stream of both these county championship finals. And we have two winners, Northumberland and Devon. So big congratulations for everybody who took part. Lots of interesting games there.
Yes, indeed. It's quite intrigued though as to what's going to happen here.
You want to see the rest? Yeah, well, why not? Let's see it.
This could be a historic game lasting hundreds and hundreds of moves.
You never know. Oh, we could get the 50 move rule if he doesn't move his pawn.
That's a good question, actually. When did it start?
Thanks, Ian. Thank you for watching.
B1 Queen was the last one, so move 48.
And where are we now? 63. Still got that's 15 moves to the 50. We still got to get another 35 moves, which is a long shot.
Oh, I think there's a trick though. I think King E5, Queen G7.
Yes,
Come on.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
Come on.
Mix up the queen. That's the only move. Thank you, Mark. Thank you very much.
Hey, black one. There we are. So that's the final score. Then that's going to be 8.5, 3.5. Also in Devon against Yorkshire. So yeah, very well played, Devon. Very well played, Northumberland. Hard luck to Lincolnshire and Yorkshire, the losers, but well played all the same. And yeah, some very nice games. Very, very, very interesting. Really, really a pleasure to commentate on. So thanks very much to all our faithful viewers.
Thank you. Thanks, Andy. Thanks everybody for watching.
Thanks very much indeed. And well, I'm sure we'll be doing some other commentating sometime. So see you there.